Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to build this house-shaped plant holders. Perfect project for a new woodworker, or if you're a seasoned woodworker, get your kids or grandkids started. Easy build. Let me show you how I did it. This project can be built using one 6-foot 1x4. Now these are the parts you'll need. The two 8-inch pieces have a 45-degree cut on one end and the measurement is 8 inches point to end. The 7 1/4-inch pieces have a 45-degree cut on end, but not all the way through. Just snip off the corners so there's about a 1/4-inch straight edge left on each end as shown in this photo. The chimney has a 45-degree angle cut and the measurement is point to end. I also nipped a small piece off of each corner of the chimney top just to soften the corners. I'll explain the pieces with the question mark later. Here I'm just dry fitting the pieces together to show you the basic structure. The 6-inch piece is the bottom. The 7 1/4 and 6 1/2-inch pieces make up the roof. The chimney goes on the shorter roof piece, the 6 1/2-inch piece. I line up the right side of the chimney with the right edge of the house, kind of like a gig line. Now, if you were in the military and get that reference, comment below that you got it. And thank you for your service. Now, once I'm satisfied with the position of the chimney, I make a reference mark. By the way, I'm using a 1 3/8-inch high spacer board to hold and center the chimney on the roof. Here I'm gluing and double checking for center. Then I put a couple of 1 1/4-inch 18-gauge nails in to secure it. Now I'm gluing and nailing the 7 1/4-inch roof section. Notice the position. I butt it up to the chimney section. The 3/4-inch thickness of the board will add to the 6 1/2-inch of the short side, making each side of the roof equal at 7 1/4 inches. Just for good measure, I decided to shoot a nail up from the underside into the chimney for extra support. If you're going to do this, just be sure to line up the nail correctly so it doesn't come out the roof instead of the chimney. Now I'm securing the sides to the 6-inch bottom piece. It doesn't show it here, but I put glue on each end of the bottom before clamping. Also, I'm using a 6-inch scrap piece on the top so I can securely clamp in place. The recording only shows me shooting in a couple of nails, but I actually put 3 in on each end. Here I'm gluing and placing the bottom rails in place, making sure everything is lined up before nailing. I start with nailing along the bottom and then very carefully nail the top at each corner. Since there is that bevel on each end, there isn't a lot of room to nail. I decided not to nail through the beveled edge because I wasn't sure if it would split the wood. Then install the other side the same way. Here I'm placing the plant inside to see how it looks. Now I didn't like the look, so I tried some 1 1/2-inch spacer blocks. These are the pieces that had the question mark on them on the parts photo. I wasn't satisfied with that look either. However, I did like the height of the plant, so I cut out a couple of rounds that were slightly smaller in diameter than the plant and decided to go with that look. I did eventually glue these two together and painted them the same color as the house. Next step is installing the roof. I marked a center point on the bottom and used a square to line up the roof tip at the top. Then I made a couple of marks on the house so I would know where to place the roof when I was ready to install. Here I'm looking for where I can safely shoot some nails in. It's right at 1 1/2 inches up from the bottom edge of the roof and shooting the nails in perpendicular to the roof. And now comes the moment of truth. I glue and place the roof in position and start nailing. A little hesitation here as I'm figuring out the best way to hold the roof so it wouldn't block the camera view. Shoot the first nail, feel each side to make sure it actually went into the side. Once I say I'm good, I go ahead and finish nailing. Then I fill all nail holes with some wood filler, sand the house down after the filler is dry, and here is how it looks. Ready for paint or stain of your choice. I'm going with a sage green with this house. I decided not to put on a primer coat first. I ended up putting 2 coats of paint and then just touching up some areas, and it turned out fine. I hope this has inspired you to try building one yourself. Hey, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.